Our last seminar in the 1920s is about flappers, or women of the 20s. The definition for a flapper is a fashionable young woman intent on enjoying herself and flouting conventional standards and behavior. Okay, this term comes to us from England. In England, a flapper is basically almost like a wild child, a kid that goes against social norms, a woman, I should say, that goes against social norms of the era. Here is a picture of flappers. You see they have what is considered by the era very short skirts right around the knee length. They're wearing short haircuts called bob cuts usually, and they have, especially this one, that era of a hat was famous to that time period as well. Also another thing, women of the era did not wear stockings. A lot of them just had bare skinned legs, which really kind of upset the older generation. So why is the 20s sometimes considered the era of women or flappers? Because in 1920 the 19th Amendment passes, giving women the right to vote, or women's suffrage. So you have women who are flouting convention. Like I said, the hair, the hats, the short dresses, at that time. Another thing is when they were dancing, the dresses just like these would move and show women's knees off, which was considered by some people to be scandalous. Also, the outfits in general were much less layered. Victorian era women sometimes had up to 5, 6, 7 layers of clothing on. So this gets rid of that. You have 1 to 2 layers, sometimes 3. And so it's a lot sleeker, a lot more form-fitting, which some of the older generation was very much against. Good example of this, plunging necklines, another part of the fashion of the era. Women also would openly smoke in public, which before this time had been a faux pas, something you did not do in society. Women would also drink openly in the 1920s. Also, the fashion of swimsuits is different. You see in both of these pictures, the local authorities are measuring the length of their swimsuits to make sure it was in accordance. From the bottom of your swimsuit to your knee had to be only so many inches, and otherwise you were violating, modesty laws. Some examples of the fashion, you see the clothing, more form-fitting, plunging necklines. You can see the calves and stuff being shown off. Good interpretation of what fashion looked like. Lots of jewelry, layered jewelry was another one. You can kind of see a little bit on this lady in this picture. Makeup is worn. Before this, makeup wasn't really a thing, or at least not for the average woman. Like I already said, stockings are out of style, bare legs are in, and the older generation was really, really shocked by this. I can even remember, I'm sure most of you kids can think of things that you do that your parents or grandparents just don't understand or they don't like. I know the music I used to listen to as a kid, which was just popular music, my parents didn't understand, my grandma hated. So it's kind of like that with every generation. So we talked about smoking and drinking, dancing, going out, staying out late. Some felt all this added up to just being indecent in society, and it was just not okay. But the 1920s gives us the newly liberated woman, and the term used for her is a flapper.